I realized after finishing the recording in South Bend that it wasn't actually streaming the whole time. Something got messed up. Uh, so half of the video, at least, didn't even end up recording or playing through. It's just a blue screen. So because I really wanted to talk about this today, I'm going to continue from Detroit, Michigan. We're on the other side of the great state of Michigan, and I have a little bit of time here before my next flight rolls out. But we're here, Terminal A, got people running around, planes taking off. We out here. But John 15 in this concept of abiding, for me, let me turn this off too so I don't hear this music. That's a little bit better, but it's kind of weird too. Whatever, we'll roll with it. So the way that I've seen the concept change, the way that I've interacted and lived over the last couple of weeks, it's interesting. I I have a feeling that the reason I can't get the thought out of my mind is because it's something that I actually need so much. That's not me. But but yeah, I I guess it stands out to me so much because I don't know that I can recall the last time that I've had a spiritual thought or a verse or concept that has just stuck with me for so long. And there's a kind of irony there because you could say that abide is abiding with me. Yeah, it's corny, but you get what I'm saying. It's like there's been a lot of really cool things I've studied, a lot of great things I feel like have been shared with me and things that I've learned. But this concept is one that is just like, it's just there consistently in my mind over these last couple weeks. And I don't know, man. Maybe it's because when I think of my spiritual experience over the last few years, I would say since coming back to the States, and I don't know, maybe just in general, I don't feel like I've been able to maximize that space. And it does feel like this is the one thing that I've been missing. And I can frame it this way. A lot of the things I've tried to do, what's up, Andres? Welcome, welcome. A lot of the things that I've tried to do and a lot of the positions I put myself in are about doing because I want to do good things. I want to do real things and great things. And and so it's easy to kind of charge up and put yourself in a position to do that. And I have had a lot of success in those areas. But it for all those good things that have been done and all those really cool moments that I've had, um, all the places, man, like it feels like it hasn't lasted or the impact hasn't been as deep. Like it happens and then I'm worn out and then it's on to the next thing. And then you charge out, you get what you need, charge up, you get what you need, and keep pushing. But realizing that abiding in Jesus is the goal, that is the end and the means to its own end within itself, as opposed to looking at it like, all right, I'm going to go speak somewhere this weekend, so let me make sure that my devotions are good. Let me let me make sure that I'm all prayed up. You know what I'm saying? So it's a real different perspective shift. But again, I think the reason that it's sticking in my mind so much is because deep down I know that's the thing I need. I think the cool thing about it is that abiding doesn't, there's no qualifier for it. There's not, well, uh, you spent 10 minutes instead of 9, so it counts. Oh, you only spent 9 minutes instead of 10, it doesn't count. There's none of that. There isn't a, oh, you have 5 bullet points of awesome insights that you gained from this. Good job. The abiding counts. And it's not, oh, you only got 2. Oh man, you're not really abiding. I think a lot of times spirituality, Christianity gets boiled down to that. We look at the product and the outward result, and because we, in our maybe shallow and not complete vision, judge other people and other things, we make statements, value statements on what it means for others and for us in terms of where we might be spiritually. And those things may not even be true at all. The reason that's important is because we may not all be able to go out there and baptize people or preach the greatest sermon or do public speaking at a bare minimum. But something that everybody can do is abide. Every single person is capable of taking a moment aside to spend with Jesus and just being in that space. You don't have to have a master's degree to do that. You don't have to have a doctorate. You don't have to be super knowledgeable. You don't have to have the best background. You don't have to come from a certain culture. Simply by existing, we have what it takes to abide with Jesus. So that takes any potential value statements out of it and levels the playing field at the same time, which is great because now every single person can have an amazing experience, a meaningful experience, a valuable experience because they abide. And going back to John 15, I think that's the whole point. Jesus repeatedly tells, I was saying in the first video, um, he repeatedly tells the disciples to abide in me. He says it 8 times over the course of the first handful of those verses of John 15. Abide in me and I in you. He talks about the branch and how the fruit can't exist without the vine. And that's a natural fact. You can't have apples growing on trees. Apples don't grow in the air. They grow on trees. If you don't have a tree, you don't have fruit. So it's the connection that makes that difference. Is being connected to the source. That's what makes a difference. That's what makes anything meaningful on a baseline level. And I think that's what's so cool about it because all of us can be fruit. All of us can be a part of that tree. We just have to connect and abide. And I can't emphasize it enough. It looks different for everybody. For some people, it might be singing. Singing is worship for people. Singing is spending time with Jesus for people. Reading can be for others. Studying, writing can be for others. There are so many different ways to abide, but the point is to abide. That's it. And I think I think there's something else kind of happening for me personally where having the thought continue to abide in my own mind, it does make me feel like I'm being more aware of these things on a continual basis than I have been before. It's less of a checking in and checking out, and now I'm kind of just there. So I give you an example. In the past, and maybe leading up to the last few weeks, I viewed my devotional experience like this. If it didn't happen in the morning, then the day was going to be off on a bad foot um, because I'd always be chasing it through the rest of the day because we're busy. People are busy. We have a lot to do. But the irony is, I ended up putting a time marker on when I could abide and saying it could only be in the morning. And if I missed that, then there's a negative value statement about how I perceive myself, and I go into that day with that same mentality. But if it's constantly abiding, sure, you'd want to start your day off on the right foot. But who said you can't abide during lunchtime or in the afternoon after you get off work or before you go to bed? Who put the boundaries and the barriers on when you can abide? I think that's a very human Christian thing to do, is to say you have to do it like this at this time if you want it to count. When, yeah, I don't know. I mean, you look at the Bible and you look at Jesus and how he interacted with people and where he interacted with people and when he interacted with them. It was a lot of different places, in a lot of different ways, in a lot of different contexts. He seemed less concerned with meeting them at a specific place and time every day, and more concerned with just them being open to meeting with him. So there's a difference. And I think it helps us within the busyness of life that we have to deal with to say, what works for me. And just because I missed that one point doesn't mean that you're no longer abiding in that. You still can be if you're intentional about it. So, yeah, here I am talking about it in the airport, which is probably something I would never do. But I feel like it's that important. I feel like it's that valuable. I feel like it's something that everybody can benefit from and that I can by continuing to talk about it and share the perspective on it. So, John 15, abide. Do whatever it takes to abide with Jesus in your way. And I think with the differences that God created us each with, you'll have a sense or an idea of how you connect well with Him. And He just wants you to take the time when you can to do that. I think you'll be all right from there. Yeah. Anyways, short stream. I'm gonna chill out for a little bit before catching this next flight. So thanks for tuning in. Like, subscribe, share. I'll catch you in the next one. I might have to jump and tune in from Atlanta. I'll let you know. All right. Peace.